All right, let's talk about something I think we've all felt at some point. This idea of banging on the wrong doors. We're going to explore what it really means when a path just isn't working out, and maybe, just maybe, find that incredible sense of freedom that comes when you finally decide to let go.
So, let me ask you something, straight up. Are you banging on the wrong door? I mean, have you ever been there? Just standing in front of a door, knocking, pushing, completely convinced this is the way, the only way forward. Just take a second. Is there a door like that in your life right now? One you're just trying to force open?
Yeah, that feeling, that brings us perfectly to our first idea here, the unopened door. It's all about that sensation, right? Feeling totally stuck. You're putting in all the work, but you're just getting absolutely nowhere.
And man, is it frustrating. I mean, it's this incredibly draining experience, isn't it? You pour everything you have, your time, your hopes, all that energy into a goal or a job, maybe even a relationship, and the door just won't budge. We get so attached, so convinced this is the thing we need. But you know what? Sometimes it's just not meant for us.
So, what do you do when you feel that resistance, that constant pushback? Well, that question is a real turning point. It leads us to something we'll call a prayer for clarity. Now, this whole perspective is captured so perfectly in a prayer from Fawn Weaver. She's the CEO of Uncle Nearest Whiskey, by the way. And it goes like this. If this is for me, please open the door in a manner that no one, including myself, can close. And if this is not for me, please close this door in a manner that no one, including myself, can open. Wow. Just let that sink in for a second.
Hearing that for the first time, it can feel like a key turning in a lock you didn't even know existed in your own mind. It just completely reframes everything, doesn't it? Suddenly, it's not about you forcing your will on the world. It's about asking for guidance and being okay with the answer, whether that door swings wide open or slams shut.
Okay, but that's a nice idea, right? How does this actually play out in real life? Let's get into it and look at two, let's call them hard truths from the source material. All right, case study number 1. Picture this, a 2-year-long struggle for a big promotion. And it brings up a really tough question we should all ask ourselves sometimes. Was the desire for the job itself, or is it really about something else? You know, like ego.
And here's the kicker. The big realization was that this whole 2-year battle, it wasn't really about the work at all. The aha moment was realizing the desire was totally driven by ego. It was about impressing other people. And the really hard truth? The company itself just wasn't the right fit. It wasn't fulfilling, and no fancy new title was ever going to change that.
And, you know, this stuff isn't just about our careers. It can be even more complicated. Let's look at another story, this one hitting a bit closer to home. It's about family and business.
So the source talks about starting a business with a sister, and man, this really paints a picture. They knew, deep down, they were just fundamentally different. Like oil and water, you know? But they kept trying to force it to work for years. But when you have completely different drives, different personalities, it just led to anger, exhaustion, and this feeling of constant disappointment. It simply was not the right door.
And look, in both of these stories, the lesson is exactly the same. The second they stopped banging, the moment they finally let go of trying to force those doors open, peace. That's what showed up. It wasn't about failing. It was about finally creating the space for the right doors, the right opportunities to actually show up.
Okay, so we get it. We've seen the problem, we've seen the peace that comes from letting go. But how? I mean, how do you actually do it? How do you get that clarity you need to just walk away?
Well, here's a brilliant, super practical tool you can use. It's called the 6 Why technique. It's so simple. You just state what you want, like I want that promotion. Then you ask yourself, why? And whatever your answer is, you ask, why again? You just keep going, about 6 times. What happens is you start to dig past all the surface level stuff and get to the real root of it. Is this a genuine desire? Or is it, that ego thing again? Another huge piece of this is what's called creative spaces. And look, this isn't some fancy thing where you need to set aside hours to meditate. No, it's about finding those little moments in your day-to-day life when you're out for a walk or just washing the dishes or mopping the floor. Those times when your mind can just kind of relax and wander, that's where the magic happens. That's when those big aha moments tend to pop up out of nowhere. And of course, there are other awesome ways to do this, right? You can get your thoughts out of your head by journaling. You can soak up new ideas by listening to an inspiring podcast or reading a good book. Honestly, sometimes all it takes is a simple pattern interrupt, just breaking up your routine with a walk in the park or even a hot bath. Anything to create that mental space you need to find some clarity. Okay, So you've got these tools now. How do you use them to find the right path? Let's pull it all together.
Now, this is so important. This is not about giving up on your dreams. Not at all. It's about recognizing that if a desire is real and true for you, but that one specific door isn't opening, you're not supposed to bang harder. You're supposed to find a different door. It's a sign that it's time to shift your whole approach. Because at the end of the day, a change in your perspective is literally the most powerful tool you have. When you start to see the situation differently, you naturally start to act differently. And it's those different actions that lead to different and, yeah, almost always much, much better results.
And that brings us right back to where we started, back to that incredible prayer. It really is the ultimate tool for shifting your perspective, isn't it? It's about surrendering that desperate need for control and just trusting that you'll be guided to the doors that are meant for you, and, just as importantly, guided away from the ones that aren't.
So I want to leave you with one final thought to just sit with. After all of this, after everything we've talked about, I want you to really ask yourself, which door in your life right now will you finally stop banging on?